want to read you a prologue here from a book. It says, falconry is not a hobby or an amusement. It's a rage. You eat it, you drink it, sleep it, and think it. You tremble to write of it, even in recollection. It is, as King James said, the first remarked, it is an extreme stir of passions. Every falconer who reads this book will write angry and contemptuous letters to me, calculated to laud his own abilities and decry mine. That was T.H. White, who wrote Once and Future King. My name is Mike Dupuy, and I'm a falconer. And my gun is a hawk or a falcon. Falconry is the most highly regulated field sport there is. This is because we use birds considered migratory, and thus they are subject to sanctions under the Migratory Bird Act. Last Thursday, I stumbled across your agenda and was surprised to see the art and sport was front and center on tomorrow's agenda. I contacted the president of the Peregrine Club of Philadelphia, who has been working on a matter with you, the Peregrine Take, and he was not aware of this agenda, and I was kind of surprised at that, since it's so falconry related, and the matters before you are falconry related, as it seems tomorrow, many of them. I surveyed 7 other falconers and found that they too were not aware of the agenda before you tomorrow. And if I can back up for a moment, one, I'm a licensed falconer, and that takes many steps. You have to pass a test, you have to get a hawk house built, you have to find someone that will allow you to serve as apprentice for several years, so it takes a lot of work. I have a propagation permit. That takes a lot of work because you got to do the same things basically, including build facilities. I have a scientific collection permit from U.S. Fish and Wildlife and USGS. They have a flock of kestrels down in Maryland at Patuxent Wildlife Research. I've served on various boards, and I've served in falconry at the state level, the national level, and international. In fact, I was the ambassador from the North American Falconers Association to the International Association of Falconry and Bird of Prey Conservation. I've worked for a Fortune 50 company, and currently I work for the Fortune 1 million, being in business for myself. I've run for Congress, I've run for state senate, and thank God I did not get into Congress. I'm very happy about that now. So I believe in public service, and I don't waste my time railing at government agencies like yours. I like to roll up my sleeves, get involved, and try to add value. It is my opinion that if anything, we need to deregulate falconry. I will now quickly highlight the items on your agenda that trouble me and tell you why. But before I do that, here's an important point of reference. In 1997, while hunting with one of my hawks, a man shot it with a shotgun. I called the police. They wrote up a report. Curiously, no one from the state and or Fish and Wildlife Service ever followed up. And I began to ask myself, why am I filling out all these forms? The falconer has to fill out a form called a 3-186A when they get a new bird. A bird dies, you fill one out. You transfer a bird to another person, you fill one out. You sell a bird, you fill one out. You barter a bird, etc. You get it. The form states that you swear to test that everything on the form under the penalties of perjury are true. And I know people that have gone to federal prison for misstating something on a form, so it's no joke. Basically, the sanctions for mistakes, misunderstandings in falconry are, is it a misdemeanor or a felony? It's pretty black and white because of the Migratory Bird Treaty. Now, I belong to the Pennsylvania Game Bird Breeders Association, and guess what? They breed migratory birds, but guess what? They have a thing called an exemption, and we don't. So because of that, the sanctions on us as falconers are draconian, if you ask me. Also, unlike my fellow gun and bow hunters, falconers currently give up their Fourth Amendment rights by keeping birds protected under an international treaty. So imagine if someone showed up at your house to check out your 30-06 or your AR-15 or whatever. Not very many people would tolerate that right now. You get one kestrel, you're subject to inspection without notice. It's pretty chilling. So let me go down the agenda now, and then I'd be happy to take questions if you have any. Definitions, it's under subsection F, falconry. It says that you're going to upgrade, you're going to adopt the federal regs on hybrids, even if they're non-indigenous cross species. The Migratory Bird Treaty definition states that man-made hybrids are not included and are not protected. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. is taking Fish and Wildlife Service to court and district court on that matter. He's a falconer. General class permittees, under that. It says a first-year permittee of this class may only take one additional bird. We adopted the federal regs 5 years ago. Why add one more layer of now you're a general -1 for 1 year? Doesn't make sense. Master. A master falconer, you've been a falconer now, you've gone through the apprentice and 5 years as a general, now you've got, you're a master falconer. Why would you have a first-year master who has to do X, Y, and Z? It makes no sense whatsoever. Basically, the current rule and how the state governs it, that bird right there is captive bred. It costs money. What business is it of the state if a falconer wants to have 100 of them? Currently, the federal regs are very liberal in allowing us to purchase birds. 50% of the birds used in falconry now are captive bred, and the rest are red tails. And if you drive from here to California, you'll see a red tail every quarter mile. So these rules that I see here are just really, they serve no purpose other than creating one more level of rules that we have to live up to and that make no sense. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. I realize you want to go home. Yes.
Was there any concerns over the other proposed rulemaking on taking or adding us to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife permit for taking peregrines? Did you have any?
I think it's high time. Peregrines were delisted by the federal government 20 years ago. The only community that really brought peregrines back, it wasn't Audubon, it wasn't Fish and Wildlife, it wasn't the Game Commission, it was falconers. Falconers broke the code, we breed them, and to me, we should take them. But I think this idea that you have to drive the bird to Harrisburg in 3 days and have it examined is ridiculous. There's a basic lack of trust of falconers exhibited by the Special Permits Department. And it's incredible. And anybody who would like to talk to me, please do. Sir?
Mike, when I first worked with Dwight Lager to bring this regulation to the forefront, he and I worked extensively together on this, and he was aware this meeting was here this weekend, because he did ask.
Who are you, sir? I'm sorry.
Brian Hoover.
Mr. Hoover. He said that he was aware of it, but he wasn't aware of the agenda items beyond the peregrine take. And he said he was told that he need not attend.
Right.
Now, he lives near Philadelphia,
Right.
and I live in Snyder County, and it was a 4-hour drive here. So to get here for this is difficult for people with normal jobs.
And that's what he did state, that it was difficult for him to get.
Correct.
And this being, you know, again, we looked at this regulation, that was one of the things that I brought up when I was discussing it, was my concern, and I think I talked to Matt about that, was my concern about having to take that Falcon and drive it from wherever to Harrisburg. And in fact, I may look at an amendment to this to make it accessible to both the Game Commission and to the person. Again, we're dealing with one falcon probably in 1 year. It may not even be that.
Absolutely, but if you look at other states, they're not doing that. It's really not necessary. They're migratory birds coming from way Iceland, And I think that this is, again, a mistrust by the biologists who do not include us in the conversation, and then they want to have us do these things that make no sense.
After we get done this, I'd like to have a conversation.
I'd be happy to. I'll hang around as long as you want me to. Is that it?
Any other comments?
Did you see the bird?
Oh, yes. Would you mind? Mr. President, thank you for allowing me to go over. I realize I did. Thank you. This is a hybrid falcon. It's a gyr, which is an Arctic falcon, saker. And sakers come from Russia. They migrate through the Middle East down to Africa. And it's wearing this thing on its head. It's called a hood. And the purpose of the hood, it's like a Valium. Keeps them really calm. They take in the world through their eyes, and if they have the hood on, they stay really calm. You want me to take it off?
No.
Yeah, no, really, they're really calm. This bird's super calm. I've been training it, flying it around. Next year, it's going to be one of those black and white birds, like the Arctic birds. Nice big wingspan. The falcons, they don't look as big until they open their wings. And they're just beautiful. This one's been flying for only 10 days. It flies about a quarter mile away from me before it turns around, comes back. And sir, I'll get closer to your iPhone later. That's a far stretch. But thank you very much. And if anybody wants to see the bird, I'll be hanging around for a while. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.